So when they put this thing together, everything was first glued, then it was attached with pop rivets, and then screws, and then sometimes some nails to follow up. So taking it to bits is quite a job. They built this to last. Taking off these skirts and fabricating what's going to go in their place is a lot of extra work, of course, but I do much prefer the look, and here's the real payoff. Now I can get access to the frame. The frame's in good condition, but it needs a really good clean, and then rust treatment and paint. Here you can start to get an idea of the change in the overall look. So I've just been tidying up in here, but I'll show you a couple of the other things I've done. I got rid of the radiator system. And in the cab, down on the floor, there was all kinds of boxes made of wood and spray foam and nails, and those housed a whole load of pipe junctions and taps and valves to control this whole heating system. The heating system was powered by a gas heater in the back, but it was also connected into the engine, which I wasn't expecting, but then when I realized it, I realized, okay, well, when the engine's on, they're using the engine, and when the vehicle stationary, they're using the gas. But there was all kinds of control valves and everything. It was quite complicated. I ripped it all out, got down to the floor of the cab, which is in pretty good shape. There's some rust, but it was covered with this tar bitumen stuff, which comes off easily, and most of it is really good, but I'm going to be resurfacing that. While I was tidying up, I was sweeping around these wheel arch boxes that are either side, and I've just been ignoring them, just thinking, well, that's the wheel arches. And then it occurred to me that no, the wheels are below the floor level, so these are actually there. So I'm going to rip those out as well, see what's underneath, see if they've used the space for anything or if that's just empty space. Yep, it's empty space, so I can utilise all that space myself. But the bad news is this wheel arch has been the weak point. It's been really badly sealed, just with expanding foam, which is great for filling gaps, but it's not for waterproofing. And the floor, front and back here, is a bit damp. I'm going to have to figure out where that moisture's coming. The walls, I would have liked to have been able to keep the walls, but the side walls are dry, but there has been some damp behind where the fridge was, which I'm assuming has just come from the fridge, so it's probably not a big deal. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to, at least on that wall, I'll start taking away the panels. The panels are 4mm thick hardboard, and I'd like to put something a bit better in. Unfortunately, there's one place where one of those hardboards has broken a bit, and behind it it's polystyrene is the insulation, which is not perfect. At least it's not wool, that would be even worse. But if I am redoing the surface on the walls, it means I'm going to take out all those top cupboards. I've kept them in because I actually rather like the mechanism, it's quite good. And I'm not sure where they're going, so I've left them where they were just in case I can work them into the plan. But no, I'm going to have to take them off. But with these cupboards, I'm going to take them off in one piece in case I decide to use them again. The back wall, where it has been damp at some point, I am going to take the interior hardboard off, check the insulation, check the wood supports and everything in there, and replace what needs to be replaced. We'll probably replace everything. So I want to get to the unseizing the back brakes, but the weather is on and off rain, so I've got through the tarpaulin on again just in case, even though I've sealed up top and at the back. But so when it's raining, there's plenty of stuff to do in here.
Now, if you remember that big box in the cab, well, it turned out there was a heater installed in behind that as part of the heating system. So that's all gone now, and it's freed up a whole load of space. I said in a previous video that I would show how this fold down bed works above the cab, so here's how it works. And the thing to take away from this is that it does not fold back up while the bed is made, while the mattress is laid down. You have to pack everything away in order to fold it up out of the way, which is another reason why I want to be able to keep this bed out and open whenever possible. The sun visor in the front is broken. It looks like someone's tried to glue it at least a couple of times, but I'm going to get rid of it and see what's behind there. If the back panel is anything to go by, then this is a possible place for leaks, so I'm going to take that off. But if you're following along, you'll know that I'm taking off all the skirts around the vehicle, everything below floor line, and I discovered a couple of things while doing that. Some good, some bad. Let me show you what I mean. So I took out these plastic wheel arches. I don't like plastic. I'm going to fabricate something from aluminium for in here. But what I found behind them was a bit of a shock. What's been done here is that in order to make room for that plastic wheel arch, cut a piece out of the I-beam, or technically it's a U-beam, in a way that I don't like. I would really like to repair this. Not quite sure if it's possible because there needs to be some kind of area for wheel clearance, but I don't like this at all. I'm going to have to figure out a way to solve this problem. So here's a plea to anyone who knows about these vehicles. Can I lift this vehicle up by about 5 centimeters to give me a little bit more ground clearance and allow me to fix that U-beam so that the wheels don't touch it when we go over a bump? Okay, but now to the good news that I found. I found the fuel tank. A little bit of research showed that this is a standard 55-litre tank, which is too small. I have thought about the fuel tanks a little bit, not a lot because I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but my kind of plan was to have a cylindrical fuel tank and to double up and have one on each side. These tanks are not cheap, but that you can get them used, not terribly expensive. But a conversation with a friend about this made me have doubts. It was about weight. Obviously, the weight in the fuel tank is considerable. That's unavoidable. If you want to have a decent range, then you're going to have a certain amount of fuel. But having two tanks, one on each side, means there's a weight distribution problem. So as the conversation got into pumps and multiple pumps and trying to keep the weight even on both sides, I started to realize that's probably going to be too complicated for me. I like keeping things simple. But then when I removed this back box on the right hand side, I found something wonderful. I didn't know what it was when I first saw it, but it's a big box. It's a fuel tank. It's hung in between the U-beams of the chassis at the back of the vehicle behind the rear wheels. The measurements are 1 meter and 6 centimeters long, 25 centimeters deep and 66 centimeters wide. And a quick calculation means that's 175 litres of diesel. Now I went back and checked the original fuel tank and found that, yeah, it's not even connected. Over the average fuel consumption of this vehicle, that 175 litres should give me a range of around 1,300 kilometres, which, yeah, I can live with that. So I got that sun visor off, and predictably I found a seam under there that they hadn't been able to get to with sealant, so I've got that all sealed up now. There's a line at the top of the cab where water had obviously been sitting and there's some surface rust, so I painted that as well. But I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching these videos, and keep coming with the comments. Heard some really interesting feedback from you all, and really appreciate it. Believe me, I'm going to need as much help as I can get.